You'd think you'd have something better to do on a Thursday night. No, I can't think of anything either. Hey guys, welcome back to the Weekly Armchair Sports Talk. It is the Weekly Steelchair Podcast. Joining me tonight is the boss. It's Keane, of course, here to talk about the Elimination Chamber, of course, the preview on Saturday. 5 p.m. Saturday evening time for the UK. 12 a.m. over in Saudi Arabia, Jeddah. And of course, there's a few other things to talk about tonight, which we'll get to later on. I'm sure we'll have something to, display on screen. But of course, the main thing is Keane's on the show, back again. How are you?
Very good, very good. This last 12 months in terms of sporting events has been up and down. I thought I'd seen one return in my favourite sport, which I'd never thought I'd see again.
Mm-hmm.
We're just about to see another one. And again, someone who helped revolutionise an era, but I suppose we'll talk about that more in detail in the podcast.
Yep, and as always, Keane claims he is the king of quizzes, so tonight Keane will be getting another quiz, and we'll see how he does this time. And I'll tell you now, you've only got one multiple choice question, mate. The rest are all guessable. So we'll see how you fare this evening. So that's the end of it. And of course, we'll come into the live chat before we crack on. As always, Victoria's Secrets was here first. Good evening. And then obviously Victoria's Secret has alluded to it. He hasn't watched it in roughly 3 or 4 years. He'll definitely be watching it if the Rattlesnake returns. Well, we'll come to that very, very soon. Sharvaga, if I pronounce your name there, I am very sorry. Liv Morgan is the best. Well, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Gary, Mon lads, looking forward to this.
Yeah, we had an issue with StreamYard before the show. Yeah, it was just a bit of a nightmare, but look, we're live now anyway. But sorry about the technical difficulties, guys. And Trevor, no, it actually wasn't my fault. It actually wasn't my fault for once.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault. Yes, it was. Only kidding. It was nothing to do with him. Well, there is no really an agenda much tonight, is there, mate? Not that I can think of. There is something on, though. Oh, that's it, the Elimination Chamber. That's it, the Elimination Chamber. What's your thoughts on it before we even preview the event? What's your thoughts on it, especially because it's been held in Saudi Arabia? What's your thoughts on that?
It's different because Elimination Chamber is always kind of a closed arena, so it's gonna be weird now to see Elimination Chamber being a stadium. There's gonna be a whole different feel to it altogether. And obviously, being in Saudi Arabia, that's gonna be different. The card actually looks quite decent, to be fair. I like the card. I like the two Elimination Chamber matches. So I think they have a lot of good stars in there. I think the match quality could be very good. And it's the road to WrestleMania. What more can you say? We're just fresh off the back of the Royal Rumble, and to kind of have a card like this before Mania. Usually, if it was Fastlane or Roadblock or whatever stupid show they'd have, it almost feel like filler. Now, with the way the matches are laid out, yes, one or two may be filler, but other than that, so I like the pay-per-view. Usually, these matches are very good. I was only watching the 2010 Elimination Chamber last night, and just remember the twists and turns that had and how that shaped up the Mania. Hopefully, we can have some sort of twists and turns in the 2022 one.
And just by looking at the card, obviously, there isn't much of a pre-show yet in terms of matches confirmed, unless one of the matches from the main roster, from the main card, drips down into the pre-show. But just from the 8 matches confirmed that I've got them right beside me. Which one are you looking forward to the most, to be honest, out of the 8 confirmed matches?
For me, the men's Elimination Chamber, because it has, obviously Brock Lesnar's in an Elimination Chamber match, which, we haven't seen yet. So, that in all honesty, is going to be intriguing. Obviously, Bobby Lashley's in here. You have Austin Theory, AJ Styles, Matt Riddle. There's a good, I suppose, mix of stars, mix of styles. No pun intended there. Yeah, it has a lot of potential. Obviously, the women's Elimination Chamber match as well. Rhea Ripley's performance on Monday in the Gauntlet match was unreal. You have Bianca Belair, who has that story as well, looking for her redemption from SummerSlam. There's there's a lot of moving parts. Obviously Alexa Bliss coming back into the fold all of a sudden. What's going to happen there? We don't we don't know. But Rachel, I really do appreciate your support. Really appreciate it, Rach. Always welcome. Always welcome here.
I think in circumstances, that's pretty much when people watch NFL. Not many people understand it. They just want to watch people get the shit kicked out of them. So we still appreciate you joining us anyway. So hello. And of course, my pal from the States, Connor. Hello, mate, who has actually asked to be on the show next week. And I've given him the green light. So first time on the channel next week, you'll have Connor. And in regards to the Weekly Armchair as well, we do have some announcements that Keane will be giving off at the very end of the show. Some very interesting announcements, particularly for the Dimes and podcast tomorrow. And we do have a new podcast coming out as well on the channel that I know for a fact Keane's very excited to have on the show. Well, not just Keane, but we don't want to get too big-headed now, do we? And of course, we appreciate it. Same for you. Same for you. I'm the same as you in terms of chamber matches. I also like the unpredictability of Seth Rollins in the Elimination Chamber. I think if they'd went with Kevin Owens, I don't think it would have had an unpredictable factor. But after the way the Rumble was handled, you cannot ignore that performance by Seth Rollins. You had to have him in the chamber, especially because he's been absolutely brilliant for the past 4 or 5 months in particular, building his gimmick. But it's just the fact that he's just taken it to a whole new spin. Like that entrance alone was absolutely brilliant. Like,
oh man,
shithousery at its finest.
I marked out, like, man, when I heard Hotel India Lima, I was like, what the fuck? Like, the missus sitting beside me, and she was like, what are you shouting for? And I was like, you don't fucking know. Like, seriously. It was oh man, it was mental. Like, it was absolutely fucking crazy. And then, like, just you felt like during the match that he was actually gonna win. Whatever it was, even though, like, we all know Roman Reigns, like, it's nailed on him, Brock Lesnar, was gonna happen at WrestleMania. But during the match, like, Seth Rollins performed so well, you thought he might actually win this, you know. And then look, the end of that match for me, there's still something there, a story there to be told.
Yeah,
there's a reason why there wasn't a conclusive finish. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen at Mania, but
SummerSlam could happen.
SummerSlam or 12 months down the line, the following WrestleMania could happen. But look, I'm interested to see what happens with Rollins because, well, I have my own, I won't say theory, but I have kind of a path I want for this WrestleMania.
We will be coming to pathways as well. Don't you worry. But I'm on the same lines as you, mate. And see, instead of a mouse, the good thing about an interactable laptop is it does give me a pen, so I'll just be tapping on your comments like so. Speaking of Connor, he's just waiting for Nikki Cross and Drew to be back holding titles for Scotland. I'll be saying this in the circumstance, I only want one of these holding a title, and it's definitely not Nikki Cross. Because I don't rate her gimmick at the minute. I think there's some things that need amended with that. I think Connor's meant to say 100% chance, but in that circumstance that Seth jumps off a pod, like, he'll do something much worse than that. He'll probably go under the ring and come back up and like a full-on like resurrection. And Trevor, Reece, I don't know about you, but Keane reminds me of one of them models that are on the cover of magazine. Well, care comment?
Who does he remind me of? Who do I remind me of? Sylvain Grenier?
Oh no. Yeah, the insanity gimmick was awesome. Well, there we go. Keane's modelling aspirations as Sylvain Grenier. Didn't take me long to bring out the jelly tots now, did it? There we go. I also have bonbons for later. They might pop up as well. But before we divulge into anything, I just want to ask, what is your all-time favourite chamber match? Because to be fair, the pay-per-views are meh. The pay-per-views are meh. You only really watch it for the chamber matches. So, and since back to 2002 onwards from Survivor Series, what would you say is your favourite?
Jeez, there's been a good few Unreal Chamber matches. 2002 always comes to mind because like there's many storylines in that match.
Yeah.
Obviously, HBK, Jericho starting their feud kind of off the back of that match. Kane had a great performance. He looked really strong. Yeah, obviously Triple H and Michaels had their own mini storylines, and the match quality was good. 2003 was great because looking at Goldberg's running that match, but the ending was bullshit. The ending was absolute bullshit, but oh my god, there's actually so many. Like even if you look 09, when Triple H won, that was a great one. That was another great match. Do you know what? I'll go 2008. Undertaker win and get the number one contender match. Reece come up. We won't talk about football on this podcast. We won't talk about football.
we won't mention that name considering the fact we're up against them this weekend. So
Yeah.
we won't come to that. 2008, great shout. My favourite will always be Elimination Chamber at New Year's Revolution 2006.
Oh yes,
because I had
Money in the Bank. Then that was significant.
Yeah, the best ending ever. I do know about this. Connor's actually made a fair comment, and would be crazy if Riddle won with the help from the Viper. As long as it isn't Lesnar, I'm okay. Reece knows my thoughts on part-timers. I kind of like the idea because it ain't going to happen, but there is actually a good pathway that can come from this after WrestleMania. A good pathway can actually come from that in all respect, and I'll mention it very, very shortly. But we may as well dive in. And go through each match. 8 of them. Beautiful. I think.
Oh, Trevor, you're a bastard.
All I'm going to say on that one is I do feel sorry for Keane, but obviously a quick Google search for those who don't know who we're talking about. This is a very kind shout. Sorry, Keane, but you know the rules.
Yeah. It's because I haven't been on the channel in a while. They're coming for me tonight, but it's okay, guys. Don't worry. I'm going to be back with a vengeance very soon.
Yeah, you're definitely going to be back with a vengeance. Now, what's the best one? There it is. So we'll just hit share screen, and we're just going to hit that, and then we're going to do tabs.
Oh, what are you doing?
And we're just going to go for the viewers at home. This is who he's talking about. And we all remember that match. I'll be honest, I hated that one. That was the most boring match. The ending was, but it was just it felt like watching paint dry. It's perfect time with RK Bro dropping the tag titles. Yeah, true, but there's good reason for that. And obviously Trevor going in with Victoria's Secrets because he agrees. He's laughing with it. Eugene and Goldberg tag team title match. Oh, that's cruelty. That would actually be funny as well. Anyway, we are going to stop bullying Keane for a little while, and we are going to go through. Well, to be fair, this will make you smile, Keane. Trevor has meeting him once, and he is nice. He says you're nice as well. I think Trevor's just kissing your ass.
I appreciate the support, Trevor. Thanks very much, pal.
Absolutely. We are going to move on, though. So, guys, if you want to get in the live chat as well, drop your predictions for each one. Drop any bizarre prediction you've got as well for each match as we go through it. We're going to spend roughly 5-10 minutes each on each one, and then we're going to discuss something very important before we put Keane through hell. So we'll just go down by order, mate. So in no particular order, we are going to go for the men's chamber match first. Lashley defending champion versus Lesnar, Austin Theory, AJ Styles, Seth freaking Rollins, and Matt Riddle. Not before we come to your prediction on it, I just want your overall opinion on not just who's involved, but the quality of the match. Like, what do you think is going to be in terms of this? Do you think it's actually going to be a good match as it's built to be, or do you think we could have a few similarities to the Royal Rumble where matches we were hoping to be good actually turned out to be utter, well, put nicely, shite.
Look, it has all the ingredients to have a nice, good dynamic, and the match itself could be good. My only worry and my only concern with this is it's a great match up until number 6. Brock Lesnar comes out, wrecks everyone, wins the title. Like, that's my biggest worry. I don't mind if WWE go down the title versus title route. I don't mind that at all. Even though personally that wouldn't be my choice. But my biggest concern is if it's a good match and Lesnar comes out, wrecks everyone, and then just buries everyone and then wins, and then it kind of just it's underwhelming.
Another Baszler.
Yeah, basically. And then Baszler lost at Mania, but we're not going to get into that one. But for me, I don't think Lesnar needs to win this. I really don't. He has that Royal Rumble spot. I think Reigns could still cost him the match. I'd rather that, to be honest. I'd rather Reigns screws him again because it builds to
it would work. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It kind of pisses Brock Lesnar off, and Brock Lesnar wanted that title versus title. We don't get it. Reigns screws him again, but we get a different winner. Now, people can go down to Randy Orton helping Riddle to win it. Personally, I don't see it.
Same.
I'm gonna throw a curveball at you with this. I know you want my prediction, and I'll give my prediction probably in a minute, but I'm thinking Brock doesn't win it. Riddle doesn't win it. Austin Theory doesn't win it. Rollins doesn't win it. Bobby Lashley doesn't win it.
Styles.
AJ Styles wins it, and we get Styles versus Edge Mania.
Which is what I've been telling you since before the Royal Rumble. I did say Edge versus Styles at WrestleMania. It's funny how I saw the light.
Struan, I have that match, but it's not.
We do. We say no. Although,
what did I say though to you in the chat last night with that match? I said
it'd be perfect. It'd be perfect, but I don't want it to be for a title. No, that just takes away. That just takes everything away, like credibility, because you can't just bring them in straight away from a rival promotion and put them straight in a title match. Like, this isn't the 90s. Like, you can't do Hulk Hogan joins WCW and then you put him straight away in a title match versus Ric Flair. You can't do that. You have to build it properly this time. I'm going to say this in the nicest way. I disagree with half of Trevor's comment. I agree with the first part. I disagree with the second, because you look at the past 6 months, Bobby Lashley on the mic, even when the MVP hasn't been around, he's actually been very good on the mic. Yes, he has bits where, like Brock Lesnar, it's stale. Like for work on the mic, it's a little bit stale. It's not as delivered. But he has got a lot better since then. And Connor, we're about to have a lot of big words, mate. We are about to have words. We will be having words very, very soon. I cannot believe you said that. How can you not like the absolute best? You horrible man. Lashley needs a manager to help him like MVP. Yeah, he does. But to be fair, so does Lesnar. I think there's certain characters that need it.
Lesnar's very underrated on the mic these last couple of months on his own.
Yeah. I want to see Cody back to feud with Randy Orton. Me personally, no. I think the time is
down the line, not straight away.
I think the time is past on that one, though.
Have you ever had a proper one-on-one feud bar 2011-12? No.
When he first joined the business, him and his dad mind. That wasn't great though.
Feud, though. That was more of a mini feud because of Dusty Rhodes.
That was all that was there. Yeah, it wasn't great though. Yeah. But as long as they just get it right, if they do give the win to Styles, it does give them a good opportunity. It gives them Edge. Edge would lose it anyway. I don't see Edge beating Styles because he's on his last lines anyway. It won't be long before he retires again. You can't give him another title run as much as I would like to see it. The only unpredictable thing is you give it to Austin Theory, but I don't see Austin Theory winning a title until SummerSlam.
I was going to say something to fuck with you, but I'm not going to do it.
Go for it. I don't see much in it, but I think it'd be very unpredictable.
Austin Theory wins him versus Shane McMahon for the title. Reece is going to end the stream, guys.
Wow. Right. That was unpredictable.
Don't worry, I have a few more curveballs tonight. Don't worry.
I noticed 20 minutes in and you just dropped that one. Becky Lynch for president. Of course, I'm not biased that she's Irish. Fair enough. Austin Theory would be an ideal winner of the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Yeah,
That's a good comment by Struan. Mind you, I think there's an issue with the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. It doesn't actually take careers on. Cesaro won it. He then got dropped. Big Show won it because he's just a big arse, so they had to give him it. Baron Corbin won it. Won the Intercontinental title. Lost his Money in the Bank cash in. He hasn't really done much since then. I actually don't see any significance behind the Andre the Giant Battle Royal anymore. I actually think they need to scrap it.
The only thing I think it done for someone was when Jey Uso won it last year. He kind of stayed near the top of the card with Reigns on SmackDown. I think other than that, yeah, like not unless they do it and kind of sell it in the way he wins it, and then maybe in the second, then maybe post Mania season, then he can maybe get a run at a secondary title, kind of the United States or the Intercontinental title at post draft if there's a draft after Mania. Like I think that maybe be a way of elevating him after the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. But yeah, look, we'll see where it goes because this could be another like Drew McIntyre 2009, 2010 situation where Vince gives him that push, and all of a sudden Vince all of a sudden says, "If you ever see Toy Story and the child has the toy in the film, and it's like I don't want you anymore," and just drops him. That's what Vince done with Drew McIntyre in like 2010. You might do this Austin Theory, you never know. Like,
I agree. It has circumstance like that, and obviously it is inevitable. Like I actually think he will drop him personally, and it would be a shame, but I just see happening. A couple of fairly decent comments in here. Obviously, Connor's jumped in with, "You get zero boost from that Rumble. It's a waste and does nothing. Just make it a normal match or scrap it." Fair comment. Andrew,
I'd get rid of it. I'd get rid of it. Back to Money in the Bank ladder match at Mania, personally,
and bin the pay-per-view.
Yeah, bin the pay-per-view.
To be fair, the problem is though is they can't do it anymore because the Big Four is now the Big Five. They made Money in the Bank one of the big pay-per-views. Unless they binned that, I don't know. It's a fair comment. Struan, it's just kind of a match to get more stars on it. Reece would prefer jelly tots versus bonbons before a Shane McMahon match. It's actually a very good point, actually. I would just eat them all. Andre Rumble should mean a guaranteed low-level title and a 4-month run with it. It's pretty much what Keane summed up there, actually. Get an Intercontinental title match, get a US title match. They need to bin the 24/7 title. Keane, I love Toy Story. Stop wrecking my childhood. And Gary with...
That's Irish slang. He's meant to say well ba, but it's el baz. El ba.
Meaning...
Hello, how are you?
Ah, right. Fair enough.
I love Gary Egan by some man.
Irish. They don't fail to disappoint you. They always prove a good point. Okay. But anyway, going back to it. So you're going with, from your ideal, you're going with Styles potentially to win the title this Saturday. Yeah,
I'm going to go with AJ because I think if you want to make that edge match, you make it for the belt. I think, that'd be a good way to get fucking my words won't come out. I think it'd be a good way to sell the match. Obviously, I think all signals, I hate being negative here, but all signals go towards Lashley loses the title, AJ wins it, and then he faces Edge. Who does Lashley face at Mania? Who's 1-1 with Bobby Lashley right now?
Good point. Exactly.
I think we're getting Lashley Goldberg at Mania. There hasn't been much talk about because there hasn't been much talk who Lashley's opponent actually is going to be at Mania. There's no coincidence that I know people saying this could be Goldberg's last match. I really don't think it will be. I think Goldberg faces Bobby Lashley at Mania, and I think Styles wins this. Styles versus Edge for the belt. Now they could go Goldberg versus Lashley for the belt. They could do it the other way around. Now, personally, I'd hate that. I'd hate to see Goldberg go from losing one title match to going into another title match just to lose that one. I think if you're going to do this, you really want to kind of book this in a way where everything makes sense for Mania. I think you go Styles wins the Chamber match. Edge comes out and challenges him on the Raw 2 days after. And then Bobby Lashley, an MVP, coming out, melting about losing the title, saying they want a rematch. And so, like, what you do from there is Goldberg comes out, says, look, we're 1-1. Let's run it back. Let's go one more at Mania. And Lashley obviously beats him at Mania. And then post-WrestleMania feud, Lashley Styles. A face Styles versus a heel Lashley.
Which would actually sell as well.
Yeah.
Because he's a much better heel than he is a face. Styles can do either or perfectly. That would actually work, in my opinion. Before we come on to the Raw Women's title, we've got a few more comments, so we may as well come to one that's very important later on. Austin to squash Owens in 2 minutes.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah. There's actually a few that will not like that one as well, especially Vicky, who is a Kevin Owens fan. Hello there, Vicky. Cody to be at WrestleMania, yeah, and hopefully he gets buried in a good way. Gets buried. Give him the golden shovel, or in his case, it'll be a golden baseball bat, or maybe a sledgehammer from Triple H. Who knows? Just randomly appear at WrestleMania for like, you break my throne, I'll break your face. But we are going to move on. Lynch versus Lita. Current versus current era, Attitude Era, past meets present. We already know who's going to win this one, but we may as well just talk about it. What is your overall thoughts going into this one personally? Because to be honest, we already know what's going to happen, but we have to ask anyway. What is your overall thoughts going at this match on Saturday?
It's a dream match. Now, I wish it wasn't happening this close to WrestleMania, if I'll be honest. If this on a show like Money in the Bank or something to have more anticipation, there'd be a bit more unpredictability. Now, look, we've seen WWE before give part-timers the title before Mania, but personally, I don't see it with this one. Becky Lynch wins, but I'd like to see this match go a good 15, 20 minutes. I'd like to see him get given some time to kind of really go, to really display their skills. Like I think Lita obviously has a lot of high-flying offense that she can use. Becky Lynch obviously has that kind of brawler type of style, so their styles can definitely, really mix. So a good 15, 20-minute match, but Becky Lynch wins again and shows that she shows again why she keeps getting the result. She's kind of like Liverpool in the way, like, you think she's going to lose, and then all of a sudden she always pulls out a win. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them. It's like even last night, I'm making a football reference there, but like, you think for so long Liverpool are going to lose last night, and all of a sudden, boom, 2 goals. But like, this is the same thing. Like, it's Lita probably gets most of the good offense in. Becky then finds a way, 1, 2, 3. Then Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair 2, WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, live chat's actually got some very interesting comments. If anybody does want to join us like later on, we might let someone join for like the last 15, 20 minutes, take Keane on the quiz maybe, who knows, get your overall predictions. I'm sure Keane wouldn't mind a challenger. We will drop the link in. Obviously, me and Keane have got no objection. As for, Trevor's coming straight at you. He's coming straight at you, mate. Anybody got any more slander for Keane after that comment? I've got no objections. Get them straight in. You haven't missed much, Vicky, I'll tell you now. A couple of references. Cody and Brandy. To be fair, Brandy was in it before as an announcer. Then she got binned because she wasn't actually seen as good enough. And, well, to be fair, not exactly wrong. Connor, it'll be Becky Lynch to win, but I agree. Make it a 20-minute match with Lita putting in a good match and nearly winning. I want moonsault through the announce table. That's what I want to see.
They should have put no holds barred on this, I think. That would have been solid.
That would be quality. Like last minute stipulation, a stoned match. Winner gets to smoke a tooth. Jesus Christ.
Fuck's sake.
That's madness. That's madness. Connor coming straight in. Keane seems like an alright bloke. He's alright.
Thanks, Connor.
10 minutes tops, then the rematch on Raw. No, I don't want a rematch. I want a one match and get out. Like, that's it. It's done. Like, best woman win. Like, it's over. It's done. It's decided. If you're going to do 10 minutes, then bin it together.
Exclusive win before WrestleMania. Like, if you're going to do a 10-minute match and a rematch on Raw, it kind of defeats the purpose of kind of legend versus future legend. It kind of defeats the purpose of that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a squash, but you could have like a 20-minute, like 15-20 minutes, just overall good quality match. The challenger has some opportunities in there to steal it. Couple of finishing maneuvers as they do nowadays. It's never a one finishing move decider. It's always like 5 or 6 before they do it, unless it's Brock Lesnar and it's at least 50. You have that in there. Get a proper decisive finish. Couple of good spots. A moonsault for a table would be a fantastic spot. Kicking out of the manhandle slam with the rock bottom, technically as it is. Like, you got to have something like a really top spot, like even a top rope manhandle slam on Lita to end it would be a quality ending.
Oh, do you know what I'd love? If like Lita tried something high flying and then Becky Lynch reversed it into a twist of fate. Just imagine that.
To steal it from her. Yeah.
Imagine the pop that Becky Lynch steals a move like a twist of fate. Oh my God.
They won't do hardcore women's matches as much anymore anyway, so they very rarely give them extreme opportunities now, which is how it is.
Or Hell in a Cell or something like that.
Yeah. To be fair, they did have a very good Hell in a Cell match in Saudi a couple of months ago, which was quality. Connor, of course, before we move on to discuss the SmackDown tag titles, give Lita a couple of finishers and 2 or 3 2 counts before Becky beats her. Yeah.
That works.
Got to space the counts out though. You got to space it. Give like a very good match. Don't give us
the Goldberg
cheap. Aye, because Lita can work, and she's shown it. Like she's got the endurance to do it. She's done it in the Rumble. She can do it in this. It's not a big deal. We are moving on where we might have a bit of decisive opinion, I think, on this one. SmackDown tag titles: Usos versus the Viking Raiders.
Usos next.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm thinking they might change up a bit. I'm just looking at recent form in terms of like coming into it as well, and the Usos are not particularly great at the minute. You would expect them to win, obviously, in a pay-per-view, but even so, they've actually been booked very weak lately.
I just pictured Usos and Roman Reigns at the end of Mania all raising their titles.
That's a serial illness, but yeah.
I just picture that. I really do.
I would see something though, like something different, but it would surprise me.
I'd love to see the Raiders win. Don't get me wrong. I just picture this. I just picture Reigns either if it's a double title or he beats Lesnar decisively, because he hasn't got that decisive Mania win over Lesnar yet. So I think he gets that this Mania, and you have the Bloodline just raising the titles with Paul Heyman.
It'd be interesting to see what will come from it. I would like to see the Viking Raiders win. Shockingly, I am backing them, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Usos do win it. There is still credibility behind them as a tag team. There are certain tag teams that are losing credibility. The New Day, for me, have actually lost credibility because it's the same thing over and over with them, which is not particularly great because they're a good team. The Viking Raiders are building themselves up really well. I think unless they continue with the draft, unless they drop the draft, I think you could see the smoke returning to SmackDown during the draft. Well, the shake-up as they call it now. I call it the draft because I'm an original. But you just put circumstance on that. That's what I think about it. But end of the line, I wouldn't be surprised if the Usos win, but I want to see something different. And the guys in the chat, you are right. You are right about the tag title match. You're not wrong. So we'll skip that one and we'll move on to the second world title match. Probably the one that's got a lot of anticipation. It's the WrestleMania match that we should have got 2 years ago. It is Roman Reigns versus Bill Goldberg. Coming into this one, this is not going to last longer than 7 minutes best, maybe 10. What is your overall thoughts coming into this one? I think for me, as much as it's got the hype and the build because it's in Saudi Arabia, it's going to draw money. I actually think there's very little point doing this match at all. I think there's very little. They should have just given something different. The only reason they're doing it is because it's in Saudi and Goldberg's drew well over there. I don't think there's any point having it.
Look, for me, I'm kind of happy we're getting a match in some respects. I'd rather it happens at this than Mania, to be honest. Look, it'll be a spear fest. I think we'll win. I think Roman Reigns will win. It'll be a spear fest. Goldberg obviously was in Saudi. You're absolutely right. And I think as well, if you look the way Reigns in this build-up is really, he's really buried WrestleMania. He's really buried Goldberg. He's just like saying like, I'm too good to be facing Goldberg. I'm too good to be facing Brock Lesnar. I like Goldberg's work in this build-up. Not gonna lie, his promo has been very good. That sit-down interview with Michael Cole last week was quite good. And actually kind of because he actually said he started hyping a rematch of Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Like, do you know, when you look at the kind of dynamic in this feud, the way the promos have been, it's good, but yeah, Reigns wins. Like, that's inevitable. But like, look, it's gonna be a spear fest. It's one of them matches you actually don't mind watching because you know what the outcome's gonna be. It's gonna be like a car crash, but in a good way. And 7 minutes for entertainment to kill time before, let's say, obviously before one of the chamber matches. You know, it's just one of them. But like, look, I'm not disappointed because there's a big match happening before Mania, which, like, if we look back at like pre-WrestleMania pay-per-views, let's say in the last 4 or 5 years, barring, let's say, 5-6 years, barring like Triple H Ambrose or like, you know, a couple of others that we've had, they've been pretty much filler. Like, they've been filler where, look, this technically is filler, but there's two big names, two established main event stars in a match. So like, when you look at it from that respect, it's, yes, we know what the outcome's going to be. Reigns wins, lol. You know, he's like new John Cena, blah, 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 blah. But it'll be a good 7-minute match. No one, hopefully, fingers crossed, gets injured. And both go their separate ways into Mania, both looking strong. Because I think if Goldberg is going to rematch Lashley at Mania, which I think could happen, I think Goldberg needs to look strong against Reigns. For his rematch Lashley to kind of look legit. You know, legit. Yeah. Because what Bobby done to him in the first match, obviously Goldberg's second match was kind of a bit of a war. So, like, if you're going to have a third match, Goldberg needs to look strong going into it. But you also need Bobby Lashley to have a good performance in the chamber, I think. But you know, it's just one of them. But yeah, look, I know I'm rattling on there, but I think it's very important that, you know, they don't overdo it in that match. I think good, maybe 7 to 10 minutes, 10 minutes max. Yeah. And we get a spear fest, finisher fest. Roman Reigns wins. Roman Reigns finally gets a decisive win before WrestleMania, because a lot of his wins recently have been kind of screwy finishes. And you're going up against Brock Lesnar. I think a good decisive win would kind of give the match a bit more buzz, you know?
I agree. I agree with you completely. And before we come on to your guys' comments, if you are watching on Twitter, come over here, come join us on YouTube and hit like, share and subscribe. We do appreciate the interaction through the community. It's absolutely fantastic. There's a lot of good comments in here actually, and there is one topic that we will be coming up to in a later show, so thank you guys for mentioning it. It is, in fact, where is it? Where are you? regarding tag teams, we are actually going to be doing going to be a big panel for that one, because you can't just do a one-to-one conversation on this one, like greatest tag teams. But my greatest tag team is actually the first team that Trevor's actually said. My favourite is the Hart Foundation, Demolition, British Bulldogs, obviously Edge and Christian have been mentioned, the Hardy Boys, Road Warriors. To be fair, you also had the Mega Powers, Brothers of Destruction. You had so many. You even had like Sting and Luger in the 90s as well, was an underrated tag team. Nikolai and Iron Sheik, Andrew's favourite, no surprise there. Midnight Express, Rock and Roll. Yep, all good shouts. Who is
an underrated? They're obviously not one of the best tag teams of all time, but do you know who an underrated tag team was? Like in the mid 2000s, was Miz and Morrison. They were like really underrated as a heel tag team.
They were actually. London and Kendrick as well. They always used to get mugged off because of their size, but they were a very good tag team.
SmackDown, their run on SmackDown was brilliant. I hate it when they got drafted to Raw because it kind of stunted their kind of development as a tag team. But yeah, they're brilliant on SmackDown.
Mysterio and Edge was a good team. That was a good team.
6,
yeah. That was just one Survivor Series match, to be fair.
Batista and Mysterio were a really good team as well.
Mysterio and Guerrero was actually a good team as well. As an off-topic conversation, that was a good team. Speaking of tag teams, actually, there is one team in the minute that's having a bit of a mad run, and that's Madcap Moss and Baron Corbin, the United fan, of course, taking on Drew McIntyre. That's going to be a quality handicap match that McIntyre will just beat them both. But just looking into that one, obviously it is a handicap match. What is your perspective on that one? I think it's actually going to be a very solid match, to be honest. I know it's a handicap match, but considering the fact that Madcap Moss is better than what he used to be, like he's actually developed really well. Corbin is still an absolute shithouse, and this happy gimmick is absolutely funny for matches, and obviously McIntyre is just straight up destruction. But what's your view on that? Looking in, I think it's going to be a very good match, to be honest.
I'm looking at Yang talking Smack's comment. I fucking agree with that.
I hate him as well. Don't worry.
I hate Baron Corbin. I actually. That's how good he's good at being a heel.
You love to hate him. You love to hate him.
Oh, he just annoys me. He gets on my nerves. But that means he's a good heel. He is a good heel. But yeah, look, I hope them two get their comeuppance. Drew McIntyre wins, and hopefully then he gets a decent match of Mania. Because the last thing I want to see now, like, you've given McIntyre, Lesnar, and Lashley, and then you can't demote McIntyre to one-on-one with Baron Corbin at WrestleMania. No disrespect to Baron Corbin, right? No disrespect to him. Absolutely none. But you can't go from Lesnar, Lashley to Corbin. That's
exactly.
That's a downgrade. Like, it really is.
Exactly. There's a level of respect towards talent, and McIntyre, for what he did during COVID, initially carrying them right through it, and he got dropped so easily, just sums up like how poor the decision making is. But he's put him back in that role, the main event scene where he belongs. He's more than capable of showing what he can do, because he is solid in the ring. Very underrated. Corbin, on the other hand, has his moments. He is good enough. He just isn't trusted enough. I think that's why he's been given a comedic gimmick. And Andrew's going, I think Drew is due a monster push. He needs to stay injury free and be up at the top of the card at WrestleMania next year. I would like for Drew McIntyre to be a heel world champion. I honestly would. I think it'd be fantastic. Vicky coming in with Corbin is untouchable. Not really. I don't think so.
Vicky, I like you, but no. He's not untouchable.
No. He isn't really. I don't think he is untouchable. If he was untouchable, he would have multiple title reigns by now, or be in more main events than Reigns. And Keane hates nobody, I thought.
No. I don't hate him personally. I hate the character. He's a dickhead. Like, that means he's a good heel, though. He's a good heel. I hate the character. I don't hate the person.
This is a good comment, actually. It's like Umbridge from Harry Potter. The people playing them are great because they really make you hate them. Yeah, they know how to play the role. And Andrew just reiterating, it was the injury. Vic, he still does, even though he buried him 12 years ago. He still likes him. He is job-wise. That's fair. That's fair. It's your opinion. Sorry, I mean Corbin is job-wise. He's untouchable.
Oh, right. I thought you meant he's untouchable in terms of
I agree on that. I agree on that job-wise. I agree on that one because he is, in terms of like how he is and conducts himself in the business, even though he has a bit of an arsehole.
It still pisses me off that he's the one who retired Kurt Angle. That still pisses me off to this day. Like,
yeah, it should have been Cena. It should have been Cena, to be honest.
It should have been John Cena or The Undertaker. It should have been one of the two of them because they were like, Undertaker was there the night before after Mania. Why couldn't you just have him wrestle a quick 10, 15-minute match? See, he wrestled one the next month anyway. So against Goldberg, why couldn't you just done it at
And
Mania?
nearly died. Andy nearly died that night as well.
Like, why couldn't you done it at that WrestleMania? Like, why? Why give it to Baron Corbin? See, you think about that as well, right? You really think about that as well. Like, if you're going to have him retire Kurt Angle, yes, he got a push, but he never got a proper push. He never went on to win a world title or anything. Like, at least when Brock Lesnar ended the streak, right? I know Baron Corbin and Brock Lesnar are two different completely animals in terms of star power and that. But, like, Baron Corbin ended one of the greatest superstars' careers of all time, right? He did. Like, why in God's name did they not give him a push after that? I know Rollins just won the Universal title. Like, why? Like, if you're going to have main Kurt Angle's career, they should have fucking put the fucking rocket up his arse and they should have fucking pushed him to the moon at that point,
Yeah. I agree with you. I wouldn't have given it to Corbin. Yeah, they had a little bit of a feud there, but there was nothing concrete. There was no believable match in that one that you would want to enjoy. It was a waste of time. It ended his career. He didn't like it. He didn't get the opponent he wanted. Frankly, if you are going out retiring, you get the opponent you want. I think the difference between now and 2011 is Edge will decide who gets to retire against this time. In 2011, he was forced to retire. Unlucky it was the opening match at WrestleMania 27. It was a good match against Del Rio. But that wasn't his last big match he wanted. He's going to get it this time. Kurt Angle, the career he's had, 15-time world champion. Won everything there is to win. Funnily enough, gold medalist. Came into the business really well from shooting, like as it was, like shoot fighting, proving himself. Should have been given what he wanted. He should have given what he wanted. And it's just unfortunate that's how things are.
I see Andrew's commentary in terms of he was done in the ring, but so was Ric Flair, and he was able to have a match with Shawn Michaels. So why couldn't Kurt have John Cena? Mm-hmm. Kurt Angle was younger than Ric Flair. Ric Flair was done a long time before that, and he got a respectable match. Do you know?
And Cena would actually get 20 minutes out of him. That would actually be good enough. Because he's, in my opinion, Cena's finished as well. Like, he's finished. He can come back, have a great match, but I still think he's finished in terms of, like, top matches. He should, next time he comes back, he should not go into a main event. He shouldn't. I know he can draw it, but he shouldn't personally. He should be disregarded. But in terms of where we're coming back to that in relation, McIntyre, in terms of believability, he still has that from Vince. He still has that, so he will get a main event slot at some point. I think you may see him win Money in the Bank. Maybe it could be the build-up. Excuse me, it might be the build-up up to Survivor Series. He could win the title, and he could probably be up against Reigns again, because it probably will be Reigns 700 days as world champion, which wouldn't surprise me anyway. Doing a Hulk Hogan, burying everybody around him. That's why I see this handicap match as more of a McIntyre will just squash them. It'll be a good match, but I think in the end it will be a squash. He'll just go through them.
Yeah, I agree.
Now for the second chamber. Women's match. Get your comments on this one, guys. It is Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. Bianca Belair. Fucking Doudrop. Nikki, almost a superhero, or maybe we should call her ASV, almost a super villain. And Alexa Bliss back in a potential main event spot, and that tell one thing, that's who I'm actually picking to win the Chamber. But it's because obviously I think everyone thinks it's going to be Morgan. I don't know if they're actually thinking it now. I think they may change their mind on Morgan. But just for the sake of it, into the Chamber, what's your overall thoughts on that, mate, and your prediction?
I think Bianca Belair wins it. I think we get her versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. But what they could do is Bianca does win it. No. Let's say Bianca doesn't win it, right? I think she will, but let's say she doesn't, and Liv Morgan does win it.
Heel turn at WrestleMania.
No. So they do. Liv Morgan wins it.
Mm-hmm.
Bianca Belair also wants to face Becky Lynch, and she forces her way into Mania, and we get a triple threat. We get Lynch versus Bianca Belair versus Liv Morgan.
Yeah, where have we seen that before? We've seen it twice, I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, we've seen it with the Authority, and we've seen it last year with Bryan interfering in a match that had nothing to do with him. Wouldn't surprise me. And it's free.
You think about this, right? You can't really, like, if you look at the momentum of both Bianca Belair and Liv Morgan, you can't have one of them in the women's battle royal, can you? They both deserve a Mania match. So, like, it could work where one of them does win the Chamber, but something happens in the build-up to Mania that you can have, Morgan and Belair in as a triple threat. And
could happen.
You get that match at Mania.
Because you're not going to get Belair or whatever trying to force her win the SmackDown title match. There's no way Flair or Rousey will let that happen. So it's going to have to be Lynch. And to be fair, Lynch is working really well with the young talent at the minute. They are building them up. Yeah, I get that Alexa doesn't need the win. But I just look at, even though she doesn't need the win, her gimmick at the minute, the way they're building her up, like going through is like a nut job, like psychotic sense.
I don't know what the payoff is going to be for that gimmick.
I like how they're doing it. I just like what I'm seeing. They're building her up, like where she's getting therapy over the issues with the Fiend. It's building really well for her gimmick. She could be a deciding factor, and she could be the one that puts. I will come with that before we do anything, because that's actually a brilliant comment. I think Keane would be a wonderful ring announcer. He's like a young Howard Fink.
I think I have more hair than Howard Fink than that, to be fair.
Well,
God rest his soul. Wait, God rest his soul.
Yeah, maybe not in 1985. Like, he had a fair amount of hair then, but yes, I see something in that. And yeah, God rest his soul. But on the back of Alexa, where her gimmick, yes, I do see the point where she doesn't really need to have a win in this one. Her gimmick right now is going to be where it is going. It looks like it's going to be the gimmick of the year, where it will usurp big time Bex or wherever she wants to be every single week. She's had more gimmicks than I've had hot dinners this week. Like, says it all, really. Like, it's just so funny. But you can just see, like, she transcends her gimmick really well. It's the same with Becky Lynch transcends her gimmicks, where they don't necessarily need to win at WrestleMania. They don't need to be in a main match at WrestleMania because they will still draw. But you're right about momentum. Belair, Morgan, if you do get a triple threat out of that, I would have that as main event of night one. I reckon you could, and then night two, main event, Lesnar versus Reigns.
We get to where a certain match plays on a certain night. I think if that women's match doesn't main event either night, to be fair.
It doesn't, but you know they will. You know they will because they've done it last year.
They won't do it this year because if Stone Cold, like, okay, we'll get to it in a sec, but if that match happens, there's no way in God's green earth, if you have a 2-night Mania, that doesn't finish the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's that big of a turn.
You just know they would do something bizarre like that, though.
Yeah.
You just know they would. I hope they don't. Personally, I've got nothing against the women. Nothing against that, but I wouldn't.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Ronda has that mainstream appeal, obviously, from being in the UFC, and obviously, like, she has an acting career, stuff like that. Yeah, like Ronda Rousey's a much bigger star, I think. That if any women's match is going to main event Mania, it's that one. Like,
It has to be. Yeah.
Like, but one of the greatest of all time returned, and there's no way that match is not main eventing, or at least is co-main event. There's no, like,
be an insult,
right? If you think about it this way, Reece, we've seen big matches go on before the main event in previous Manias, and it drains the crowd because the crowd are so hyped up. The crowds are so hyped up, you know. Like we see when Shawn Michaels and Undertaker at WrestleMania 25, they went on 2 matches before the main event, and by the time that was finished, the crowd didn't really care for the main event then, when it was meant to be Orton and Triple H, and I had the best build towards Mania. So I think WWE needs to be very careful that if they do have Austin's, well, I don't want to say yet before we get to the topic, but if they have that match happening before a women's match, the crowd could be shot, you know, because it's in Texas as well.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, mate. I completely agree with you. And speaking of that, you got this year, you got next year. Just for you guys, obviously you guys know I do editing, design work. Here's something for this year and next. It's a shame they don't have that legendary world title. That would be so perfect for something like this. I just had to get that in there. I know who my GOAT is. But we will be coming on to him very soon, actually, because that's something I really want to talk about, and I know Keane really wants to talk about it. Andrew's made a very fair comment, actually. He doesn't think he goes on last purely because it's a short finish, but to be fair, I remember Survivor Series.
Yeah. And
they did have those two. They did have Goldberg versus Lesnar on last, and that was a 4-minute match with 10 minutes of entrances. It wouldn't surprise me. Oh, he will be, and he is going to put Roman Reigns to the ground and make me a happy man. Let's see what else is being said. It's Alexa Bliss, but Bianca and Liv Morgan has a separate match due to Chambers match. Interesting. Austin has to be main event. He's not coming back just for a bit part. He's not actually. There's rumours that he's going to be back for at least 4 or 5 matches over the course of the year. What's up, Trev? What's up, Paul? You will be put on a timeout if you say that again. You will be put on a timeout. I'm not even going to read that out, Trevor. That is slander. Austin curtain jerker. Jeez. But just for the sake of it, I think we pretty much do unanimously agree. Like, for me, I would like to see Bliss win it, but I think purely for the sense of it, it's most likely going to be Morgan or Belair. It just makes more sense for them. Considering with Lynch obviously is going with younger talent in the minute, and she's building them up really well. It's the only two that make sense.
The other one you could say is Rhea Ripley. Like like her versus Lynch. Mm-hmm. That could work. But yeah, I don't see anyone other than, Rhea Ripley hasn't had that much good build up in the last 2-3 months. Now I know the Gotland match she done very well on Raw, but
once isn't enough.
Yeah, to be fair, Kofi Kingston did have a good Gotland match before WrestleMania. We all know Kofi Mania. But look, yeah, that's different. There's no Ripley Mania running wild or anything like that.
Yeah. There isn't much on it, and Andrew, you're right, they have fucked her up too much. And Andrew's also saying Liv still being built, it will be her. I don't think me or Keane necessarily disagree with you, to be honest. I think she's certainly improved. She has certainly improved in the ring, especially, and she's also improved in the mic work as well. She's built up her feud really well with Becky Lynch. It's just, we've seen it before where they've had good feuds, and then what they've done is they just kept going too long with matches. It was repetition. they fucked up Styles Nakamura, one me and Keane have spoken about privately before, which is annoying. So we've had that, which doesn't really reflect. We've got 2 more matches to go. We're going to fly through it, and then we're going to discuss pretty much for the remainder of the show some interest and some memories, and obviously a key return, and then Keane's going through the quiz. If anybody wants to join, by the way, we will gladly drop the link. Whoever wants to take on, Keane claims he's the quiz king on here.
No. You can't make a claim about something, right? Here's the thing, Mr. Russell.
Yeah.
No. Have I lost the quiz in this channel yet? Yes or no?
Have you taken me on the quiz yet?
We didn't do a 1v1, but have I lost the quiz yet with anyone else in this show?
Not yet.
Not yet. So that would make me the head of the table.
No, we're not giving you that. No, we're
that
not.
Would
We're
make
not.
me the head of the table.
No, we're not supporting that. We're not supporting that claim. I will mute you if you if you say that name one more time. I will mute you. I have the power.
I have the power to unmute myself as well. Don't worry.
I'll just keep muting you, just to wind you up. Ooh, strike at you. You can't claim it isn't really being challenged. Boyakasha.
Oh, Trevor.
Oh, that is too good. Styles versus Nakamura in New Japan was unreal. I agree.
Yeah.
And yeah, Paul, I do agree. Bayley is class. We're waiting for her. Hopefully she gets involved. At WrestleMania in some capacity. But we're just going to fly through it because these 2 matches I generally don't care about. Women's tag match, don't care who wins that. It'll be Rousey and Naomi anyway, but I honestly, actually, no. Might not be. They might give it to Flair so she loses at WrestleMania. I honestly don't care. And Mysterio versus Miz, that'll be a solid 15 minutes where afterwards I'll be probably drinking. Miz to beat Mysterio.
Miz wins. We get Dominic versus Ray at WrestleMania.
Yeah, Dominic turns on Ray probably.
Yeah, and Rousey and Naomi win. Yeah, that's just it.
Yeah, moving on from that shit. Moving on because those matches are. We do have something special. But first things first, I need to bring it up because you can't do this without something extra special. Is it that one? If it's this one, then we're good. For the viewers, as I said before, I love doing editing. Ice cold, stone cold. Something different. Really don't care. Brooke will win. Brooke will knock him out.
I'm going to go Khan, just to be different.
I haven't seen Khan fight in a long time. I used to like Amir Khan.
Yeah. He has a glass leg, though.
Just like Eric Bailly's got glass legs. Just how it is, unfortunately. Stone Cold. I don't even know where we start, mate.
Man, it's when I seen the rumors come out that he's in talks for a return match. Now, it was a couple of months ago where WWE said they're going to push him to do something at Mania because it's in Texas. I thought really it'd be a guest host role. Not going to lie, I thought, it's fuck's sake, Trevor. Like,
I disagree on this, but
if it depends on what you define as GOAT, but we're gonna have a whole podcast on that. Don't worry. But when his return, like in terms of Mania, in terms of he was gonna have involvement, at Mania for for a possible guest hosting role or the promo or something like that. Like, I was excited because obviously he's in Texas. The pop would be fucking class. But then around the Royal Rumble, things were coming out, tiny little things like, WWE have something big planned for WrestleMania in terms of like big return.
Yeah.
And like usually there was something like that would be, you might expect some sort of part-timer or maybe someone, the Forbidden Door, which we'll talk about before the end. Like in terms of that, you see that. But then WWE are in talks with Stone Cold Steve Austin for a sensational in-ring return.
Yeah.
Now, we haven't seen him wrestle a match in 19 years. Man, like this is big. Like if you want to talk about people who have influence in sports, now obviously WWE sports entertainment, that's, make that what you will, but Stone Cold Steve Austin helped revolutionize the wrestling business. Like if you want to talk about someone who helped define an era, Stone Cold Steve Austin defined the Attitude Era. Without Stone Cold Steve Austin, there's no Attitude Era. I strongly stand by that. Like, he's one of the greatest of all time. If you're talking about overall character, if you're talking about influence, if you're talking about selling out arenas, he's number one. Like, he's number one if you're talking about selling out arenas, merchandise, pay-per-views, things like that. Like, he's that guy. And
I agree with you.
This is going to be massive because if you're looking at mainstream appeal for this WrestleMania, it's in Texas. He's one of the he's one of the big.
Yeah.
Like he's one of the biggest stars of all time. He's if you're looking at the modern day wrestler at this moment in time, they didn't have the full package what Stone Cold Steve Austin had. He was good on the mic. He was good in the ring. He had that overall character. He could do absolutely everything. Like anything Stone Cold done, he done it well. Now, bar that one that I know mentioned in the comments, that heel turn in 2001, WWE fucked that up. But this is so big because if it's talked about, he's gonna have 4 or 5 matches. Then Stone Cold Steve Austin, there's one match I've already mentioned to you that needs to happen before he retires. If retires in terms of the 4 or 5 matches, that Lesnar match has to happen. It has that's money. That is money.
That's got to happen.
They're printing money with that match. But like for me, you're really the modern day fan. If you're looking at the younger fans, and this is nothing against them, like the younger fans, there's nothing against any of these guys because they've only seen matches of Stone Cold Steve Austin on the WWE Network.
Whereas we were blessed to have seen it.
We were blessed in that era to see Stone Cold. And if WWE do this right, they can really, for his one last run, they could really create 1 or 2 new stars out of this.
And give him a send-off he deserves.
Yeah. Now, yes. Now that would be one last. I know that we said about Cristiano Ronaldo returning to Man United, and we said one last dance. Now that would literally be one last dance. You have 4 or 5 matches left, right? So it's obviously massive, this return. You can't fuck this up. So what I'd say, let's go your 5 matches now. We all know Kevin Owens is going to be number 1.
Yeah.
Stunner versus Stunner. That I think Kevin Owens, if you're talking about your first match back in a safe worker to get back into it, Kevin Owens or Randy Orton would have been the perfect choice, one of the 2 of them. So let's say we say hypothetically, right? We 5 matches, right? Let's go 5 matches.
Right. So we've agreed on 2 versus
Kevin
Owens. Let Styles.
I go Kevin Owens. I go Lesnar.
Styles has got to be in there because they had a good feud as well when he was with the OC, and they actually had a good link together on the Raw show. And Styles is the modern day Shawn Michaels. He can have a match with a broomstick and it'd be 5-star. He would actually work well with him.
Well, for me, I'm looking at that. You're absolutely right. He can get a good match out of a broomstick. But I'm looking at what WWE'd want in terms of marquee value. Now, that would be a marquee.
I think it would be marquee. It didn't have to be on a main. Actually, Andrew, you've just popped one in my head.
That would be interesting.
Yeah,
it would be. That is an option. But for me, I'm looking at. I don't really see it either, Andrew. I agree.
I can see something from it. Like something from it. Maybe not as a match, but I can still see something there like clashing between them. It's a shame that the Forbidden Door isn't going to last much because realistically you could see Punk versus Austin, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah. For me, I'd be going. You obviously have the Owens match. That's just a fact.
Lesnar has to happen.
Lesnar will happen. I think Randy Orton has to happen. I think Austin versus Randy Orton has to happen.
Yeah, I think you could have Austin Theory actually. I think you could have him up against Austin Theory. Personally, the next star, the next building that could work.
What I'm thinking is, do WWE build a star off or they draw money? There's those two things. Austin's return isn't going to be long. So if you're thinking about, as much as I'd like to see him build up the young stars, and the hardcore fans will probably hate me for this, but if WWE are booking a Stone Cold Steve Austin return, they're going to look at the matches that are going to make them the most money.
Yeah.
Put the most asses in seats.
Yeah,
now,
true.
Andrew says Kevin Owens, Goldberg, Reigns, Drew, The Rock, my prediction. Now,
one of them I don't want to. There's one in there that I don't want
Goldberg,
to happen.
no.
Yeah, I don't want it. I would replace that straight away with Lesnar. Reigns, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's too much. It's up there, but that'd be just too much of a. I think that would just be too much of a burial because they would.
Yeah.
But you still get something out of that. Rock versus Austin for the 4th time. You could either have Austin win that for the 3rd time, go 3-1 up, or Rock brings it back to 2-2. There's a chance, but I don't know. I don't know if they will do it for a 4th time.
For me, I have my 5 matches, and I'm looking at the most money. I'm looking at what Vince McMahon. I'm just thinking what Vince McMahon would do. I'm thinking you have Owens now just to be a safe first match, stunner versus stunner. You have the whole Kevin Owens I hate Texas thing that's going on at the moment.
Yeah.
So that match will happen. I think Brock Lesnar will happen. Just because the money, you have that 2002 backstory. Yeah. Austin's been open in the media saying his biggest regret in his career is actually not wrestling Brock Lesnar. That is going to happen for sure. If both of them do it.
And he spoke about it with Heyman on his podcast, like the first Stone Cold podcast.
Yeah, so it is there. Match number 3, I think Randy Orton. I think if you look at star power, if you look at dream matches, if you're looking at eras, I think Randy Orton will be number 3. I think Roman Reigns could be number 4. Match number 5, if you want, with The Rock. I think you look at them 5 matches and you look at them workers in all them 5 matches. They're all safe workers, probably bar Brock Lesnar. You look at they're all safe workers, bar Brock Lesnar. Every single match draws money. Every single match will be a main event for pay-per-view. Maybe Owens is debatable. But all 5 matches you could resell as a main event. Whereas if you have, let's say Austin versus AJ Styles, just for example, how many main events of any pay-per-view, even at AJ's run as champion, he main event?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Now,
that's down to their delusion, though.
Yeah, that's down to their delusion, but maybe maybe if you went down that route, like even if you maybe said Seth Rollins has that pay-per-view value where he could,
Yes.
you could do that match, like you look at it, it's one of these things where Vince McMahon's gonna look at this. You're looking at like there's a few important components here. Cena is possible. It does depend on what his schedule is like with Hollywood at the moment because he's very busy. Same with The Rock.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Rock, but the thing is, Rock is open to returning within the next 1 to 2 years.
He's only got his eyes. He's only got his eyes on Reigns.
Yeah,
That's pretty much it. That's all he's got. I think Reigns will be his last match, and he'll retire for good.
yeah. It's one of them. Like I think if presented rightly, Rock would probably come back for that Austin match, but like Vicky's saying lame about Austin Rock, but like it draws. That draws.
Yeah. It would be a little bit lame, but to be fair, I'm not too bothered if it's built as a lame match because Andrew's right. Nostalgia buys everything, and it would definitely sell. It's just beginning timing. You need to time that one, and that ain't easy because they built that perfectly at the time because they were both full-time workers back in 99, 2000, 2001, 2003. Well, 2003-ish they were ending.
The only way you could build that, the only way you could build that, Reece, is a retirement match. I think they both retire. Like you build as both of their last match.
It could work. It could work. It's just they will have to nail that down booking. Yeah. If they fucked anything up in that, it would kill everything.
Oh, fuck off, Andrew.
I was going to send you the link, Andrew, for the quiz as well, and you've just killed your chance. I just can't. You both have far too much in WWE. Well, been watching it for too long. Knowing Vince, you'll probably... Nope.
No, I'm not reading that comment.
I don't see that happening anymore. You don't get stuff like that anymore because, well, to be fair, you've already had Ivory come back in her right to censor gimmick. There's no way they would allow it.
And what Trevor says is true. Like, legend matches make sense as they are built up over the years, just announcement needed. Yeah. Look, WWE deliver great promos, like, in terms of, like, video packages for a match. You could sell, like, one video package sells that match. Like, if anyone who watches, like, this one way I put it to you. Anyone here who's a fan of the UFC, right? I'll bring up, I know it's this WWE podcast, but if you really want to talk about marketability and you want to talk about how to build a fight or a match, Conor McGregor hasn't won a meaningful fight in 4 or 5 years.
True.
UFC put out one video package of a McGregor fight. That sells in minutes because he's a big star.
And he loses in seconds.
Yeah, but in terms of that, like if you look at how marketing works, all WWE would have to, similar to what a McGregor fight would happen in the UFC. Like
they are good. Like
WWE put out one video package. Rock Austin, One Last Dance, they named it or something. That's just me off the cuff here, right? One Last Dance, Rock Austin, Joe. We find out who's really the better man. There you go, bang, done. There's your pay-per-view. There's your big bucks.
And it would be quality.
Yeah.
And in that video package, you could have all 3 decisions. You could have Austin pinning Rock at WrestleMania 15. You could have the handshake from WrestleMania 17. And then at WrestleMania 19, you can have Rock stand over Steve Austin with a question mark. Part 4, question mark. That's all you need.
Yeah.
If that did happen, though, I'd be up for it. I would be up for it. I'd be a little bit skeptical, naturally, but I saw all 3 matches growing up. I was privileged to see all 3. I would definitely watch the 4th one. It's my favourite band of all time. I'd support that. The Eternal GOAT match. I would like to see some justice. I would like to see The Undertaker and Steve Austin get justice after SummerSlam 98, where Steve Austin was unfortunately concussed. I know it says much, but I still would. I think there's just something in it. Keane was thinking One Last Dance was a good heading, but the wrestlers might think they are on Dancing with the Stars.
Hey, Trevor, you're a Man United fan, Trevor, right? You know when Ronaldo came back, One Last Dance, that's sold jerseys. You use that term for a legend, it fucking works. It no matter what sport it is.
Yeah. Just look at basketball. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing.
It sells.
So, that's also a very fair point.
Yeah, but the thing about this is, Vicky, like if you want to sell a match and they're both part-timers, right? And they're both part-timers. And they like, even if you look at some of the matches now with part-timers and how WWE sell the match and build the match, video packages are the way to do it. Where even to the younger generation, right, that haven't seen Rock and Austin, that one or two video packages sells that match. Not to mention all the hardcore fans who are Attitude Era fans. They're going to come back for that one WrestleMania or SummerSlam, Survivor Series, there that match may be.
And then fuck off again.
Fuck off again, but WWE rake in the pay-per-view, boys. Like, this is what I mean. I think that's where if Stone Cold Steve Austin does come back, that match, or at least someone of that era, Stone Cold will face. Yeah. Whether it's The Rock, whether it's Triple H, or The Undertaker, one of them three he's going to face in his return. There's no way WWE do not pull the trigger on the Attitude Era.
Aye, they will.
There's no way they don't pull the trigger on that.
And that, especially how their buy rates go down when it comes to NFL season, which is 5-6 months down the line from WrestleMania. It would be a good way to keep people intrigued and interested. So there's certainly that factor. There is certainly that factor.
Right, go on. Drop the quiz.
First things first. Does anybody want the link? Does anybody want to take Keane on?
Anyone except Andrew for that fucking comment now. You're done.
Nah.
You can face me on the next podcast I'm on. After that disgraceful comment, you're done. You're done, Andrew. You're done out here.
I overrule him. If anybody wants to come on, just ask. I'll drop the link in this, but you have to appear on camera, no hiding.
No camera.
Let's see, share. Invite. Copy. Anybody that wants to come on?
Oh, there's Vicky and Andrew are teaming up there now.
If they want to, that's fine, but all I'm saying is I will not be fair with these questions. And there's only one multiple choice and there's 8 questions. So jump on when you're ready.
We give you 3-4 minutes, guys, maximum to jump on. So if you're jumping on, get that link in there now.
Yeah. It's in the live chat. So to be fair, we can have a maximum of 6 people? So if 4 people want to come on, or just Andrew and Vicky, by all means jump on. We will do this now and again, of course, for drop links in the live chat. It's only because it's easy to twist Keane's hand. It's quite easy. I just have to say I'm doing it, and he's not arguing with me.
Yeah, because I'm very open.
Yes, you are. Yeah, that's all right, Andrew. That's no problem. And Trevor, 4 minutes for. See, for that comment, I think Trevor has to come on.
Yeah, Trevor is. Trevor, I need to get you on camera. You need to show your face, motherfucker.
Yeah, he does. Here comes opponent number 1.
Trevor, I need to get you on camera. You need to show your face, motherfucker.
Yep. I think we'll need to. I think you will need to mute the stream though in the background. Andrew, you'll need to turn that camera on as well. I need to make sure no one cheats. So yeah, I do. If you are watching the stream in the background, please mute the stream. It's just so you can hear these questions, because some of them are a bit lengthy and some of them are specific, and I do need you to keep it muted. But yeah, so first things first. Andrew, Vicky, how are you both this evening?
Is that better?
Much better. Much better.
That's good. Thank you.
How you both doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Yeah, she did. Anyway.
Black hair's better. And do you think Vince made a mistake turning Stone Cold heel? No, it was Stone Cold's decision. It was purely his decision to do it.
I'm sorry, what?
Wait, what? Are you? Wait,
What?
why am I so tall?
Just remember, Mad Goat made yours retire, so shut up. Okay, 8 questions, 1 multiple choice, which we'll come to. Keane is defending champion, so he will get the honour of deciding whether he goes first or second. But before we do that, I just want to know: are you two doing this as a team, or do you want to do it as all 3 of you in a triple threat match?
Triple
In
threat
the
all the
famous
way.
words of Stone Cold Steve Austin, don't trust anyone. I'm going
Perfect.
solo.
Perfect. That suits me then. Right. Let's see how this goes. So we'll just do each question. It'll be different order each time. So Keane's getting the first question. Gets it wrong, I'll pass it to you, Andrew. You get it wrong, goes to Vicky. And if Vicky gets the question wrong, then I'll just tell you that all 3 of you are just wrong. And we'll move on. Okay, so question 1 for you, Keane. Who has the most Elimination Chamber wins?
Triple H.
Correct. Question number 2, and I'll give this one to you, Andrew. Who has the most appearances in the chamber?
I want to say Chris Jericho.
That is correct.
I knew that one. That sucks.
Yeah, I have to be fair sometimes. So, 2 successful answers from 2. Here we go. Question number 3.
Gonna be wrong.
Which superstar achieved an 83.33% elimination rate in a single match? So, for this match alone, it's 1 superstar and he eliminated 5 individuals. Can you name me that superstar, Vicky?
Oh, I want to say Kane.
Oh, yes!
It's wrong, isn't it?
That is sadly the wrong answer.
Is it Roman? Oh, sorry.
Braun Strowman.
It is Braun
Yeah.
Strowman.
Oh.
Strowman in the 2017 Royal Rumble, 2018, he eliminated 5 from the 7.
Roman Reigns won the match.
It's because you're so old school. I always go back to old school. I hate that.
Old school meets new school. That's all that. I just had to put that comment in there because that is a legitimate one. Let's see how he fares on this one. So Keane does nick the points. So Keane is currently 2-1 ahead. Question number 4. On 5 occasions, the chamber match has determined a number 1 contender for a title match at WrestleMania, but only 1 has succeeded. Who was that?
Succeed to win the title, is it?
Yes, sir.
The Undertaker, WrestleMania 24.
Correct. Andrew,
Mm-hmm.
this is the multiple choice question. So you really need to pay attention, guys. You need to listen.
Can I phone a friend?
There's your only friend. Question number 5. Which superstar has the worst record in the chamber? And your choices are, is it A, R-Truth? Is it B, Wade Barrett? Or is it C, Kane? And based on this question, I'm going to explain it. This is determining your eliminations plus wins in their appearances. So it's either A, R-Truth, B, Wade Barrett, or C, Kane. And that's for
I
you,
feel like
Andrew.
our truth is there just to be there. So I'm going to eliminate him straight away. And I'm probably going to say Wade Barrett.
That is the correct answer. In 3 appearances, he has 0 wins, 0 eliminations. So
That's who I would have picked. I would have picked him.
I think this one's fairly gettable for anybody. I think so. I think this question falls in favour to you, Vicky. Question number 6: who won the first women's chamber match?
Oh my god, that is so many. That was like, what, 3 moons ago as well.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
I've woken up since then. Oh, was it? No. Oh, I want to say Alexa Bliss. Don't say that's my answer.
If you wish to put that as your answer, you can.
Oh, I'll just do that. You know what? Just do it.
Alexa Bliss, final answer.
Yeah, I am. It's probably wrong.
The first women's elimination chamber match was
Why
in the
did
belt.
I get three options?
Because there's only one multiple choice question.
Right.
Here it does.
The first women's chamber match was in build up to WrestleMania, in which Reigns beat The Undertaker. In that match, at WrestleMania, Alexa Bliss lost to Nia Jax. So yes, the correct answer is Alexa Bliss.
Well, there you go. First instinct for once.
I think, to be fair, I think this is you cannot get this question wrong. I don't think anyone can get this question wrong. So this is for you, Keane. Which superstar lost a title and won another on the same night?
The Rated R Superstar Edge.
Correct. So I believe the scores at the minute is 4-2-1, I believe. And this is for Andrew.
I've only been asked 2, right? Yeah, that way.
To be fair, it's all based on stealing. I've been fair though. I will try and base it on stealing questions or stealing points, so I just do the same way. So this is question 8. I think next week we're going to do 5 questions each and we'll have a laugh out of it. But this is the final question. This is for you, Andrew. Who is the only winner to date from a chamber match that has eliminated every single opponent in the match? So just to reiterate, they were in this match, and they are the only one to take an elimination.
I really don't know that one. Just for the sake of answering, I'd say Shayna Baszler, but I'm not 100% on that.
Ding, 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 ding.
Mm-hmm.
That is in fact the correct answer.
Well done, Andrew. I had it.
Who's the real quiz king here? Who's the head of the table, eh? Who's the head of the table?
And on that note, I'm just doing this.
I'm just a servant, aren't I?
I'm only kidding. Very impressive. I wonder if I can do one last match, one last question, just to wind you all up, and we'll do it as. So Keane's won it.
Of course.
Until he goes up against me, then you'll get flattened. But I'm going to ask.
That's not fair because he always goes first, so that's not fair.
I'm going by order of the screen. I think that's rightfully fair. I'm going in order of the screen. I'm going to ask you one question. So Keane's won it anyway. But Whoever gets this one. So, Keane, you scored 5 points from that quiz, I believe.
Yeah.
And Andrew, you got 2 or 3? No, Keane got 4, Andrew got 3, and Vicky got the 1.
But why have I only got the 1? Because I didn't get to steal the point. I didn't get to steal the point.
I like answer it.
That's how it works. That's just the way business works.
It's best for business.
But there is
I know. We couldn't even just like chop and change it over, so Vicky could try and answer it second time.
Hey, I got to do things my way. I got to do it my way. That's
I'm
how it
not
works.
saying anything, Vince McMahon, you little scoundrel.
You just call me a scoundrel. What abuse? What abuse? See, for that, I'm going to make sure this question is difficult. Then I was going to be so fair. But okay then.
Bring it.
This is first to shout your name. You get this.
I do.
You get this. I will award 2 points. So there is a chance here that Vicky could draw with Andrew, draw the same points, 3 each. Keaton could go ahead on 6.
Here we go. This is where you answer from about 2001, and that's
Or Andrew could sneak the win from Keane here, forcing a title rematch next week. That's how I run things. I'm just pissing you off. 1 question. All I need you to do is just give me the name, and it's first to say your name. The Elimination Chamber has had 1 special guest referee.
Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, he's already got.
Whoa! He didn't say his name. That's not fair.
He didn't say his name.
He did?
No, he didn't say Keane.
No, he said first to say the wrestler's name who was special guest referee. First to say his name.
But we all knew that. I never said Vicky, and I would go Shawn Michaels.
Your name. You'd say first to say the referee's name. That's what Reece said.
God damn authority.
You two are just too bloody entwined.
Trust me, he wants me to lose.
I had nothing to do with this. I had nothing to do with this. I asked the question. He answered it.
Not having it.
Reece said on the stream, first to say the referee's name wins. Shout his name. I shouted, I win. I'm the head of the table. I don't care if it's a heel turn. I am the top heel on this show.
And on that note.
All right then, we'll test Keane then.
Yeah.
Since just you two watching the background, let's see what Keane does, right? Let's see how he hands this one.
I didn't spill that.
All right, Keane. Who? He isn't gonna like. I don't think he's gonna like this question. To be honest, do I really care? No. Keane. The first tag team match in the Elimination Chamber. Can you name every tag team?
Oh, I can. That's not fair.
What? Do you know what? Since Vicky's complained that she couldn't answer a question,
I will fairness,
I'll let Vicky answer this one.
So you had the New Day. You had. Is this the women's?
No, not women. Just the first one, and obviously the men came first.
The Luchadores or Lucha, the one with the little one.
Lucha Dragons, yep.
Lucha Dragons. And then you had part-time players. You had Team Hell No.
I know, but he's on his PC, that's why.
Oh no. Memory bot.
You're doing fine. Keep going. You're doing better than Celtic.
Was it Tyson Wilson and Cesaro?
Yes, Tyson Kidd was involved with Cesaro.
So how many have I done?
That is 3.
Wait a minute. So, no. Did I not? The primetime players were in it, no?
Yes. So there you go. So you got Usos, primetime players, Lucha Dragons,
New Day.
Yeah. Who won it?
Yeah, the New Day won it. Primetime players, and then
You're
the
forgetting
Luchasaurus,
You're
and
forgetting
then
one tag team.
There is one team
Am I
missing.
wrong with Team Hell No?
Yeah,
Nope.
you're wrong.
Okay.
Team Hell No, we're not
Oh
involved.
my god, is it? Oh, I don't know.
Can I jump in, Reece?
Pardon?
Hot tag.
Part-time players, yeah.
You've already said them.
Oh my god, I'm missing one person.
Millions of dollars. Millions
Can I
of
jump
dollars.
in? Can I jump in? I think I have it.
Relax, just relax. So far you've said the New Day, correct. Primetime players, correct. Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, correct. Lucha Dragons, correct.
And there's 6 of them, right?
Yep. So I only need two more because I don't know if you said the other team that I've got on screen.
Cesaro as well, didn't she?
She got Kidd and Cesaro, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
There's 2 teams. One that got ruined on the main roster, and the other one.
Well, that's shortening it down, on it. So, oh my god.
And the other is famous for carrying a bull between them.
Isn't that
Yeah.
the Luchas? Oh no,
Let's
I know
say it,
it's
Reece.
me.
I'm actually dying to say it.
Actually, I'm going to keep on going. You can just all just roll with this because it's driving him mad.
This is actually ruining the heel turn. So keep going. Keep going.
Oh, you killed. Oh,
But I will keep you running until
Andrew,
quarter
do
2.
you want to help? Andrew, do you want to help me out?
No.
No,
Can we-
no,
can
I
not
don't.
I will
Reece, can I
grant.
just answer it? Can
No.
I just answer it? Because she's not going to get it.
No, Reece, can I
He's
tag
on
you
the
in?
edge of the rope. He's holding the rope. He's waiting for the hot tag. You have to give it to him.
I will.
No.
I
Completely.
I am-
Road is the
Reece,
This
road
is this.
show we want to
This
Road
is-
is restless. Come on.
This is
Come on,
this is my
champ,
show.
champ,
This is my
work
show.
with me here. Work with me here. Come on, champ. You know you want to. You know
This
you
is-
want to.
Oh,
Tag it in. Tag it in.
I will grant you one clue per
Okay.
these 2 teams you have not named. I will grant you one clue. One of them wore face paint and tried to rip off the Road Warriors, and
Oh!
the second has a
Oh!
small bull that fought Hornswoggle.
Oh, they had the black and white and red face paint, and yeah, they were killed over. They were one of the best tag teams for the first originals for the NXT Tag Team Champions. Oh my god, what happened to them?
They got buried.
I can't remember their names.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm
Exactly
going-
Can I jump in, please?
I am going to award it
Go on then,
to-
Keane.
to
Bugger off.
Andrew. I'm going to award it to Andrew. Andrew, all you need is to
Me?
name 2. You name these 2 teams.
Oh,
And I will-
domination. Oh, go on.
Domination? No, that's not today.
No. It's in
Oh, I'm just going to name the 2 teams because fuck this. The Ascension and Los Matadores.
Ascension!
Yes, finally the heel turns.
Ascension! That was it.
I'm loving this.
What, the
Oh,
Ascension and whom?
Los Matadores.
That's
That's
why I kept calling
Matadores.
you.
They used to be. What were their names before that? They used to be Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
I can't remember their names.
Yeah.
Los
Anyway.
Matadores, Diego and Fernando.
Oh,
Mic drop by
God.
Keane.
Them.
Mic drop by Keane.
He'd had
So what-
enough. He was done.
That's how you wind them up.
the Ascension eventually.
We know. I'm going to ask you guys, 'cause obviously you're now, you geeks. Yeah, we're geeks.
Do you know
The thing is, though, is the entertainment is, put me against a quiz against this lot and I would smoke them with my eyes shut.
But you know the reason why I know it was like the New Day that won, because before that they had, the year after that they had that popcorn thing where they were sitting down and then they who had it, who got themselves knocked out and read that tag team match. Oh, that little gobby New Yorkian.
Oh, the Dudleys?
No, the
New York. That's a new way to find where you come from.
when they come up from New York. They're the big one and the small one. Why don't I remember their names? Probably because they were both.
Enzo Amore.
Big
Yeah.
one and small one's a bit unlucky. But here's something.
Enzo Amore.
Oh, don't even.
This right here.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I didn't pick anything. I left it because I thought it would be Revenant. That's my name.
3 world titles.
I didn't actually pick it.
Okay.
I left. I thought I left.
I'm gonna say, and Keane, you can search this up if you want, just to make sure. I know it's free. I know it's 3 world titles. I'm gonna go Harley Race and Ric Flair. I think he won it twice off Harley, but that is hard. Like, fucking Dusty Rhodes' world title reigns was solid. Because not many had.
Hardy Race. You defeat Hardy Race twice, and then Ric Flair once.
Get in, and you bot account can do me all a favour and fuck off right now. Where's the comments gone? Comments have vanished.
Probably because we're the other two that we're doing it.
No, I banned the bot account, and then they're back now.
Oh gosh, we need to go.
Piss off, you bot cunt. No, I blocked Andrew. Shit. Right, I'm putting that in the live chat. That was a mistake. Andrew, accidental. I was blocking.
I missed.
Come here, he can actually hear me. Andrew, that was an accident. I did not mean to time you out, mate. That was an accident.
I missed the beginning. So, what was your favorite elimination match?
My favorite Elimination Chamber was New Year's Revolution, 2006.
Yeah, that's the best one. To me, that's the best one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the one with AJ Styles was pretty cool.
2017.
Yeah.
The one when Bray Wyatt won it. I mean, it was a decent match. But I just look at the Chamber match in 06 was just levels for me. Like Cena, Shawn Michaels, Kane, Chris Masters, Carlito, Kurt Angle, first elimination after German suplexing everybody. Then, obviously, Kane gets eliminated after chokeslamming everybody. Shawn Michaels gets bloodied as per usual, but he had an absolute outstanding performance coming in at number 1. Then Carlito Chris Masters gets eliminated by Carlito after a low blow. Then Carlito roll up, Cena wins. Edge comes out and does it all a favour.
The weirdest thing about that Chamber match was the fact that Carlito and Chris Masters became a tag team after the fact, and they went on to WrestleMania to face Kane and The Big Show.
And
that's
lost.
The only little tidbit I remember that.
Yeah, although I didn't like what happened the next night on Raw. Fucking Spirit Squad. Fucking Spirit Squad. We'll come to them down the line one day. Don't worry, we'll totally ruin them.
But your favourite women's? What was your favourite women's one? I think the one with Shayna Baszler was really good. Only for Shayna Baszler ruined it afterwards, but like she should have been known. But other than that, she just bit Becky Lynch's neck afterwards, and that was it. Boom, done.
I think the only good women's one was the first one. I'll be honest, out of the 3 women's chamber matches, the first one's the best one. The other 2 haven't delivered. The tag titles one didn't deliver for me, and the Shayna Baszler was just a squash. And that was literally just that for me. But
she should have been excellent from then on. Absolutely.
Yes, I agree. No, I do agree with you. And obviously, as we are coming towards the end of the show, I do apologise to Andrew for time limit. I was trying to block a bot account, but the live chat disappeared on me. But before we do anything, I'll get you guys to just shout out your socials, and then I do think Keane will probably have a few announcements of his own as we wrap up. So, Andrew, just for finding you on social media, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter. I'm only one Diggins with a Z at the end. So if you just want to follow me, I tweet about UFC, United, and the occasional bit of wrestling as well. So there you go.
Quality. And any future shows you want to be on, just drop us a comment, mate, and we'll get you on. So thanks for having us. Vicky? Where can we find you? And thanks for coming on again. Obviously, good to be a laugh there as well. So
just that bit there. That's fine.
yeah, Wetterbird84,
I'm
United,
not gonna
United fan, wrestling fan, bit of good banter as well. And Keane, you're not the head of the table. You're my bitch. Obviously, we know where we can find you, but do you have any announcements that you want to bring forward for the channel, for anything going forward? And obviously, guys, like, share, subscribe, all the smooth jazz. Over at you, Keane.
Yes, so look, you can catch me obviously on Twitter at United_Keane for any United wrestling, UFC, just as Andrew said, any type of propaganda you want to have a look at, come over there and have a look. And I also do like bantering Liverpool fans every now and again. But also just for the Weekly Armchair Sports Talk, so Reece hosts a podcast tomorrow with former Manchester United player Danny Rose, and so that's live tomorrow here at 8 p.m. And so do check that out here on the Weekly Armchair Sports Talk YouTube channel. That will be also live on Twitter and Twitch as well. And also Diamonds and Buckets podcast tomorrow. I do believe tomorrow at 6 p.m. Irish and English time. And I think it's like, correct me, our American friends, I'm wrong, but 12 p.m. and your time.
Yeah.
You might correct me if I'm wrong in and around there. I'm shit when it comes to time. But that Diamonds and Buckets podcast will be live then. And also just do smash like the video. We do have a lot of interesting content coming going forward. Reece will be hosting a good bit of it. I'll be back as a host as well on this channel with my own particular podcast coming soon. Can't say too much yet because it still has to be there's a date and time confirmed, but I will be back here full time as well. So there will be a lot of interesting things coming. And so do catch our Twitter page at sportsarmchair_, where all their updates will be there. And
also keep an eye on our Twitch too. You'll be seeing something from that very soon. And also, Vicky, thank you for tuning. We'd appreciate it. But on that one, what else can I say, really? There's no watch. There's no time. But there is Elimination Chamber on Sunday. See you later, folks.